Welcome to, in my opinion, 4 Agents of Mayhem. Before anything, if you're wondering if this game has any connection to the Saints Row series, the answer is yes. This game takes place in a what-if universe going by the Recreate ending from Gat Out of Hell. Now that that's over, let's head to the story. The world was a pretty peaceful place, however, on a day now known as Devil's Night, an underground super evil organization known as Legion attacked and succeeded in taking it over. Persephone, a former Legion member, breaks away and forms Mayhem, an organization of, I guess you can call them anti-heroes, to take Legion down. It's a battle between bad versus evil. You're not going to find some deep plot here, as it's basically a Saturday morning cartoon turned up to 11. So you're going to have big explosions and off-the-wall characters. The characters are what drives this game's campaign home, as they're all distinct from one another, with their own reason for joining Mayhem, be it save their home, revenge, or just because it's Tuesday and they want to fuck something up. The cast dialogue and personalities bounce off each other quite well, which turns out to be highly entertaining. So prepare for a loud and fun time. Agents of Mayhem is an open world action game with some minor RPG elements, where you'll be shooting, jumping around buildings, and blowing shit up. The controls click pretty well with no real delay, and switching between agents is smooth as you can do it even in mid-air while in the heat of combat. Yeah, that's right, you can switch your character on the fly. While you're on the arc, which I'll speak about later, you pick 3 field agents out of 12, which thankfully you unlock pretty quickly. Each of these agents feel different from one another, and they also sport different weaponry like chain guns or swords. This is great as switching up lets you experiment to find your go-to squad. Also, the game doesn't make you feel forced into using any of the characters besides maybe when a certain skill is needed for like 1 or 2 missions. But besides that, it gives you utter freedom to play as you want. There's also multiple difficulty levels you can pick before sending out your team, each having its own money and XP value for rewards. The game does give you a helping hand as it lets you know the recommended difficulty level going by your squad's strength. As you level up your agents, you will gain points that you can spend on their set upgrades, making them more powerful and even have group effects like more XP. You will also gain new gadgets specifically tailored to each agent. There are 3 sections to mess with, and each section has different variations to that gadget, such as changing the gadget from just a regular auto explosion to giving you haste and slowing down the enemies while using said gadget. This lets you customize how you want to use that agent. As you take down multiple Legion foes, you eventually raise the Mayhem bar. Activating Mayhem lets you unleash each agent's super duper abilities, such as only striking fear into everyone's heart, Broddock sending down lasers, Fortune's killer droid, and much more. These Mayhem attacks make you feel pretty badass, making you go, run, run, fear me. The main missions themselves are pretty entertaining, letting you know about each of the lieutenants you'll be taking down. They keep things interesting as each lieutenant has a personality, as well as some pretty neat setups like taking out rabid fans, a battle on a battleship hosting a wedding, and dealing with the 5 stages of grief.
Oh, are you a fan? I'm sorry, I'm not giving autographs.
Just get over here.
Now besides the main missions themselves, there are other side tasks you can do, such as foot races, car races, taking down death machines, taking down golems, and taking over Legion towers, which give you a better view of the map and its task. This is the small bits when it comes to the side stuff. The more interesting and engaging side activities are the agents unlock and personal missions. These give the backstory of our agents and the reason why they joined Mayhem. I highly enjoyed these as it added even more to our crazy cast of characters. Only thing that sucks about it is some of these don't really have an ending, and leave off in a kind of cliffhanger, making you want more, makes you feel kind of annoyed. After you do all of these, you also get team specific missions, and each of these agents form their own group. The team themselves are made up of such a strange hodgepodge of characters, and yet they were able to bounce off one another naturally, leading up to some funny dialogue.
Gin and scotch. I love them both, but together they taste like rhino piss. Also, who listens to rap rock anymore? Outside of maybe like Marines.
Hell you talking about? I'm a Marine, and I don't listen to rap rock or rap rock. I listen to smooth jazz. Oh, 'cause that's so much better.
I wish there were more of these, but sadly only one team mission a pop. Same goes for the personal missions. Only other negative about these missions and even side tasks is they recycle the Legion base location a lot, with even some of the same objectives like clear the room. I personally didn't get bored because the agents and overall gameplay was fun, but I can see some getting tired of it. While just running around the map, you can also find crystals which help improve your agents by unlocking upgrades and helping them reach the maximum level. There's also random spawn chests that can unlock materials to make gear, but most importantly it helps you unlock some of the many current agent skins. I really like what they did with the agent skins. It's not just some bland here's black version or here's green version. Each is pretty stylish and I'm sure you'll find your favorite. Speaking about the map, one of the things that bugged me is the lack of custom waypoints. Yeah, you can pick a mission, the game gives you drive lines to find it, but if you want a specific spot, you get no guidelines and there's no minimap to make sure you're on the right track. I mean, these are the guys who beat Grand Theft Auto to this minimap making markers thing, so it just feels odd that it's not here. When you're not on the ground, you're being on the Mayhem arc. This is your main headquarters where you can walk around and check your overall game stats. You'll also be able to read up on all the agents, getting even more background info on them. There's even an option to rewatch any of the in-game cutscenes again. There's the vehicle bay which you can set up which car you want summoned while in the field, requisitions which shows you how much money you got incoming from trading companies you take over, and has agency upgrades you can buy that help out a bit, like making the chances higher of unlocking skins or gaining more XP. The R&D lab in which you can make two types of tech, gremlin tech which is a special tech you can use on the field a certain amount of times, like laser beams from the sky, instead of reviving a team if all of you die, or going all Super Mario star power. Then there's Legion tech in which you can get a character specific tech to add a boost to their gadgets which can be equipped in the armory. If you want to get some quick cash and crystals another way, you can jump in the rec room which are quick little fun VR missions with varying difficulties. Lastly, there's a global conflict which you can send out your agents to battle Legion around the globe. Heads up, sending out an agent will make them unavailable for a certain amount of time. Also, some agents work faster in certain areas. Conquering these areas nab you some chests, tech, and even some character specific contracts. There's even a chance you might find a Legion layer you can take down. Those contracts I mentioned are character specific goals you can complete, like kill X amount of people with Daisy or fall from a high distance X amount of time of Hollywood. Doing these unlock even more background info on agents if you're interested in finding out more about them. These are all fine and dandy, but shit, they can be grindy. Though at least they aren't as bad as the online contracts where time contracts are insanely grinding. Plus you have to do it in a single setting since leaving resets it, and the rewards aren't that great either. Hell, at least with the character specific ones, they save and you can take your time with them. The game also allows you to keep playing after you finish the main story mode, even allowing you to replay some of the story missions and all the personal and team missions, which is just fantastic. The game looks so dang good. Everything has this sort of bright cartoon shading to it. Character models and designs pop visually and everyone looks unique. The effects are wonderful with all the big boom explosions and such. The cutscenes are presented in a way harkening back to the classic G.I. Joe cartoons, giving the game even more personality. Though it was odd that some of the cutscenes didn't have mouth movements, I'm guessing it's because of the budget. The open city of Seoul is nice to the eyes as well, which is futuristic look combined with more modern time areas which fits the game's vibe. Also, it doesn't come off as dead and dull as you see some civilians doing goofy things from time to time. The Legion layers, however, do get kinda boring after a bit, as besides some of the boss encounters, none really look all that different. The voice work is fantastic. You can tell the cast is putting in their all and seem to be having fun with this dialogue. What's also pretty neat is in every mission, each character has their own little dialogue to say, so you can replay the same mission and get brand new dialogue. There are even times when you're just walking around that the characters will go into little discussions with one another, adding more personality and making them feel more believable as a team.
You have a minute for a kind of personal question?
Yes, of course.
I know you're separated from your family for their protection and all, but how do you deal with it, being away from the people you love?
There is a box in my heart. I put all my feelings in there, all my love, concern, and care. Because I cannot bring that burden with me into the battlefield.
Damn. Wow. That's not bad advice, Oni. Thanks.
Their frame rate does drag a bit if stuff gets really hectic, and I ran into one glitch where one enemy couldn't get through a door and I had to restart my checkpoint, or some tasks wouldn't show up or start. There are also times where the sound effects were a bit late on the uptake. Also, if you're expecting some type of music while driving, prepare to be sorely disappointed as it's just some generic tunes you hear. I really enjoyed this title. The gameplay is just explosive fun with each of the characters feeling different from one another. It gives you plenty of options to find your favorite. The story mode was fun to go through because how goofy and over the top it got. Not to mention the characters themselves were highly entertaining with great voice work. If you just want to go through the main story and nothing else, you're looking at 10 to 15 plus hours of gameplay. Though all the side activities like the personal missions, tasks, and contracts crank that up a few more hours. Even though the game can get repetitive for some, with the mission structure mainly going through a lot of the same Legion layers and some tech issues, it's still worth your time, especially if you enjoy the team's previous work with Saints Row. So become an agent of Mayhem and join in on the fun. I hope you enjoy my thoughts on this game, and for gamer's sake, keep gaming.